Hello everyone and welcome to Action RPG. I'm your host Aaron, and for today's video we're headed to the world of Last Epoch. Mike, one of the senior developers from 11th Hour Games, held his normal Friday Q&A live stream on Twitch, which means I get to bring you Dev Chat 47. And I have to say, it being so soon since we had 085, you really don't expect any teasers or leaks, but he did bring us some items and art for this stream and answered a lot of good questions. So that is what we're going to cover today on this video. Now, you already know what I'm going to say. We're coming up to April Easter, and I'm hoping today is the day I have earned your subscription. I'm hoping today is the day you make the decision to push that little red button. I would really appreciate it. It really helps push the channel forward in 2022. On top of that, I've officially started a Patreon. Thank you to the first 33 people that have signed up. Get Patreon exclusive content at the first link in the description and become an instant ARPG VIP. All right, as always, I will share my thoughts. Please feel free to share yours in the comment section below. Here we go. Our first question is something that Mike gets asked pretty regularly. He gives a pretty detailed answer, and I'm gonna allow him to ramble for a little bit. Mike, what's the plan for sets?
So yes, but not in this patch.
Not happening.
Sets are a really interesting beast because there's so few sets that I think are done the way that I like sets to be done personally in any ARPG that I can think of. So few. It is really difficult to make work. And I think the important thing that sets bring to the table is this this extra restriction or constraint in the puzzle that is picking out your gear. And I know that might seem like a bad thing, but I think it makes things more interesting, where you're like, okay, well, if I want to get this bonus, it has to be these 2 slots, which maybe it's for a build that, say you're doing a throwing build. And historically, there's a pair of gloves that works really well with like basically every throwing build. And you really want these gloves. It's the classic choice. You know, they're solid, they're good. There's just a lot of damage. But there's this set item. Like the set comes along, and it's like suddenly there's these gloves as part of the set that are really good, and they are the set bonus is actually worth more than the gloves. But the gloves have a the bonus that the gloves have is a gameplay change. Like, say it's 1 less mana cost to throwing attacks, and it's like just enough that it changes the sustain rate for your attacks, and the build doesn't really work without that sustain. So you then have to go outside of the usual slot and find something maybe less optimal to account for that. And that might seem, it's not a fantastic example, I'm kind of coming with stuff off the top of my head, and that might seem like a bad thing, but that cascading effect of, because I want to use this, it affects what I'm going to put in other slots, and it restricts my decision making, so I have to get a little bit creative with it and pick off meta or less classical choices, I think is really healthy and good. One of the problems comes in when you have sets that are too big, and suddenly there's like more than half of your gear is just decided upon because you're like, well, I want this set bonus, so I know what my helmet, chest, legs, belts, and boots are all gonna be. Just because I'm using this set, and there's no decision making there at all. And I think that's an issue that comes with set items, which is why a lot of our sets are very small. So I think we have that one taken care of, no problem. And I think keeping them interesting, relevant, and not making them just an auto pick, but also not making them useless is a very fine line to walk. Because set items do take up more than 1 slot, they do sort of have this. The second half of them is that they reduce the amount of decisions you get to make in your gearing puzzle. I think it makes those decisions more interesting if done right, but it does reduce the decisions. or combine decisions together, I think might be a more accurate way of putting it. And since we have, I think this is a struggle between uniques and sets, because set items really are just unique items that have an extra special bonus for using 2 specific uniques together. Or more. Multiple uniques. And so right now we've kind of unfortunately left set items, because there are way more unique items and there's way less problems with them. Unique items are in general a lot better, and there are way more
much better
items that are popular and useful. And you know, it might seem like we're just saying like, oh yes, well, sets or uniques are better than sets, and we're just gonna leave it at that. And for now, that is the way it is. But that's more of a, we don't have a perfect solution for, or we don't even have a really good solution that we're prepared to roll out for set items. We've got a few ideas and a few things that I think are very promising, but none of them are done enough.
Okay, Aaron, why did you put that in there? Well, sets are going to be a big part of the game, and sets are something that is very popular in ARPGs. Anybody here that's played Diablo 3, you know that uniques really you don't really care about. I mean, there are some that you need for sure, but normally you run your build around a solid set of 6 items, maybe 5 if you're getting the reduction, but they don't want that for Last Epoch. They want smaller sets that do give you a powerful bonus, but not like sets have to be the way you run it, and it will be fixed, and they are going to work on sets, just not for the next update. Mike, why is it for 085 I can no longer find dungeon keys, specifically keys for the new dungeons? Go.
Yeah, so there was a bug initially with drop rates of keys, where it was only doing the Sanctum, it wasn't doing the other 2, and that was a problem. I don't think there are any existing bugs anymore with it. Excuse me. It's possible there might be. I think that we'll want to see. I think we'll want a little bit more data on it before we make any wide sweeping changes to it. I think that the drop rates are probably pretty good, and that a lot of the more prominent forum posts we're seeing might not have as accurate data as the people posting them think the data is. And I'm wording it very carefully, because I want to say that I don't think there's anything malicious or intentional going on, but collecting data on things like drop rates or anything that's chance-based, unless you're actually like recording it and timing it and getting like actual data for it, if it's just, oh, I played for about this amount of time and...
All right, Mike, I'm going to stop you right there. Stop whining about key drop rates. They fixed the bug, and the people posting their data, Mike is nicely saying it's probably not accurate. Teaser number 1. Mike, go.
I just don't think about it, and someone asks for spoilers, I'm like, oh yeah, right, spoilers. Well, it's not 100% sure if we've shared. So there we go. Oh, teasers for the Model of Fate, yeah. So I'm not 100% sure which art we have shared or not yet. But here is some art for a pair of boots that you definitely can't tell what boss they might come from.
The Mountain.
No to any existing bosses. Yes, I know, Mike's puncture hail that you think it's easy.
My guess. By the way, the quality, this is Mike's stream. Okay. Art on the book, boots.
Protect the people.
Look good. Leak number 2.
Ooh, what's that? Ooh, ah.
And this is art.
Do you guys make Monolith random generated
or
echoes?
A new unique?
That's getting more randomization into Monolith is something we're working on. It's not there yet. Will Shaman get more support for lightning companions, like an end passive that doubles lightning companion, or it's mastered mostly for totems? I think that the lightning companions do fit best with shaman, and I would like to see a little bit more synergy there. But
I agree. By the way, the art for this weapon, I always get excited when I see a skull, because it might be a necro unique. Leak number 3.
Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a nice one.
Fire.
More after that, too.
New fire belt.
2 back-to-back right at the end.
Looks like little candles in it. Ooh, I like this one.
You might be able to guess where this comes from. You played the patch at all?
Soulfire Bastion. For sure.
These are,
Guess.
I will say that all this art is subject to change still, as I'm showing you real early versions of it, and the items aren't actually made yet.
Fire looks good. Again, my fire necromancer is my favorite character, and when I see an item that's fire, maybe it's necro? I don't know. Leak number 4, and I'm gonna allow this to take out Dev Chat 47. Mike, as always, thank you for continuing to hold your community live streams. We appreciate it and gives us an opportunity to ask good questions and connect with the dev team. Like I said at the beginning of the video, check out my official Patreon. First link in the description, all the likes, all the comments, all the shares, subbing. I appreciate all that. Don't get me wrong, please continue to do all that to help push the channel forward in 2022. But if you want to take it one step further and support me financially, first link in the description to get Patreon exclusive content and become an instant ARPG VIP. Also down there in the description is over 20 viable build guides for 084 and my Discord. Okay, that's all I've got. Mike, thank you. Take it away.
It's probably not that disparate.
Easy.
Okay, let's, boom! You may notice a slight theme with a couple of these. Does this unique belt do something unique? Right now it does literally nothing and doesn't actually exist other than the art. But I'm hoping that will all change this weekend. Will you guys make dungeon variants for different story timelines in future? Example, based off of lore in different timeline, Kermoris was using light and cold. Changing mechanics to adjust for that theme, because I feel like a lot of possibilities based on timeline lore. Just an example of idea to throw out. I think that's a really astute observation. And I have nothing else to say.